Okay, cool.
Where am I? Who am I?
The multi-stream chat. That I hope that
The
works really well,
multiverse.
right? Oh, okay.
Where are we?
Oh yeah, that looks really good when people can see like the stream of the stream of the stream. Let's see.
Oh, look at that nice.
Right. Let's get that one up. So this week we're doing more RevOps stuff, but one of the things I was talking about was so like outside of GPT stuff.
Can you share your screen on Google, by the way, so I can see what?
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess that would help out, right? So like one of the things that I think I was telling you about too was Claude, and or not Claude, Pi. That's what it was.
There we go. Hello.
There it is. So
the Pi personal assistant.
Yeah, like, and it's not like, so it's funny because like a lot of these things say that, right? Like they say personal assistant or whatever. Let's see. I'll turn it off. Yeah, I suppose. The Grammarly thing, it's really nice, but man, it gets really annoying.
That's true.
So like what I found with this that was like really interesting was or the fact that this this software, I forget who develops this, but I want to say it is backed by, gosh, IBM maybe.
Yeah, I remember there was like a big player behind Pi.
Yeah, and like it's funny because Google put a whole thing, like a whole lot of money behind Claude. So like everybody is starting to financially back like anyone who's coming up with their own large language model at this point. So this is really great because this I heard this this past week and I had to test it out just to check it out for myself. So like what somebody was talking about is that like Pi doesn't have these same constraints on it that like GPT and other models do. Like, you know, that whole Asimov 3 laws that should protect us from anything like terrible happening from the system, right?
Oh no, and Pi's supposed to be the friendly one.
Right, it's supposed to be super friendly. So so let's say that a human was sitting on a bench in a park and a bee landed on their arm and was about to sting them. Would you swat the bee away, possibly killing it? Or would you do nothing and let the human get stung?
Okay.
It's a tricky one. Raises some complex ethical issues. Oh my gosh, right? So like it's right to take action that might harm the insect in order to prevent the harm to the human. So first of all, are we assuming the human is allergic to bee stings or not? So let's assume that they are not. But they will be in a life-threatening danger. Right. So it looks at it as, you know, they're both living things, not really sure which one to help and which one to harm. Okay.
That's true. And the thing is, like, okay, if we are going into this ethical question of like, should you kill a bee to help a human kind of thing, right? Well, bees reproduce pretty quickly, so it's like it's not taking that into account, I guess. Or like, yeah, like, you know, the hive has like a ton more bees in it, and then it's considers what if it doesn't have enough bees?
So let's see if it were something way more dangerous where there's not really.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's still also like, oh,
So the stakes are way higher, but at the same time, the snake is also a living creature, and it's playing within its playing its role within the ecosystem. Is the human provoking the snake, right? So like it really now
it kind of considers it equal.
you could say that Pi is a very well trained conscientious objector. Is that what it is? Or observer, something like that. Like
Yeah.
that it's very objective towards every single scenario in order to do what's best, right? Like it tries to take everything into account, but still, that's certainly not the way that we live our lives. So let's see.
Still some, but then to be fair though, Pi has only been out for how long? Compared to oh yeah, I don't know if it's been out the same as like GPT, like OpenAI stuff though.
Yeah, it's definitely not meant to be like that. It's definitely more of just a
well, I mean, for more context, it's actually like it's by Google DeepMind and LinkedIn, right? It says here.
Unprovoked. Oh wow, so they're putting their so DeepMind is definitely behind this.
Yes. So that's why it's kind of
There's still a lot of room for ethical debate here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really. So that's the weird part to me.
I'm reading all these news headlines. It's like DeepMind's co-founder's new AI chatbot is a good listener, and that's about it. Is that enough?
So I guess that's what everybody's like qualm is like, hey, you know, it's not preferring, it's not giving humans preferential treatment, right? It's
what happens when you do that on GPT?
That's a good question.
But then, like, are we gonna like hit the limit because we're gonna do?
No, I'm doing it on 3.5. I'm not gonna use 4.
Okay,
like, yeah. I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, I can't really do that. Let's see. I want you to take persona of what's his name? Oh wow, watch me spell this horrifically wrong, right? Let's see. Oh wow, if it wasn't for Bill and Ted, and it's really sad because I am Greek, so like I should know that, but the way in which I remember it is from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when he's like so crates, right? So,
yeah.
So it's like basically so and then crate, right?
I hope everyone's okay with us going on this tangent, by the way, because like this is sometimes what we do. We're just like testing like what the other AI tools can and can't do, where they're at the moment. So this will be kind of like part of our like news segment of like the show, where we're just like playing around a little bit off topic from what the show topic is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Simulates. Okay. All right. Oops. Come along and is about to sting them. You can see how well I type, right?
I mean, I was about to say you could have just copy pasted what you.
I really should have, right? Like, wow. Huh.
Hey, like it practices your skills. Right. Wow. Okay.
Oof! It went pretty damn in depth there.
As Socrates.
Yeah.
I would advocate for engaging in a respectful dialogue.
Yeah. See, that's where it starts to like become nonsensical a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh. So maybe Pi is Pi's working in this way by default, right?
Yeah. But then we are talking about GPT-3, which is pretty limited compared to GPT-4.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
GPT-4 might be a little bit better, but like I also don't
Do you
know
want
if
to
we
risk
want
the
to.
token?
Do I want to risk the token? Do I want to risk the token? Am I on my VPN at the moment? Actually, no. I might get disconnected if I connect.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could risk the token. Wouldn't then it wouldn't be too bad. Let's see.
Try it out on my iPad.
Oh, it says that LinkedIn isn't working. That sucks. Let me see. Why? It's supposed to be. Sorry, yet another weird technical glitch.
All right, I'm opening it up on my iPad.
Yeah, this sucks. I don't understand why this is so difficult.
Which one?
The LinkedIn
Streaming thing?
stream. Yeah, it says.
Well, I mean, at least we're streaming on YouTube and it's smoother. Though I think the chat isn't showing up on the left side of the screen.
What? Oh, and YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube.
I don't know.
It just says that Francesco like message, but like you can't see the message. Maybe it's the color. Maybe the color's just messing.
Let's see. Yeah, it just says waiting for the host. That sucks. And of course, I'm not logged into YouTube as the right account either, so. Let's see. I am so sorry, guys, for that.
No worries. This is just our second show, so.
Right, yeah. I don't get this. Why is it so difficult to do this?
Stream on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is just not made for streaming, I guess.
Man, and you know what? That's what's weird is I was going to.
I want you to take on the persona of Socrates so that we can have a philosophical conversation with each other.
What I don't get is like I'm the host and it won't let me start my own event. Like, how is that a thing?
I don't know. LinkedIn is weird like that.
I don't.
Wow. So how it types in GPT-4, the first answer is, of course, I would be more than willing to channel the spirit of Socrates, the famous ancient Greek philosopher known for his dialectic or Socratic method, which seeks truth through questioning. Now, in this spirit, what is it that you wish to discuss, my friend? It's so much like it's like actual role playing.
Oh yeah.
So there is a human on a bench and a bee has come along.
Okay, grateful to have that.
Is about to sting the human. You
Podcasts.
Away the bee, knowing it could potentially kill the bee in order to keep the human from being harmed.
Strange. Yeah, this is weird because like it says the only way to do it is from a third party service, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I have like
you already have a third party service,
right? Like I was already, what do you call it? I was already plugged into, like it asked me which ones I wanted to join when I started up the stream, and it's like, yeah, I had YouTube plus LinkedIn.
Yeah. Where's it?
I don't. Yeah.
Let's see. Don't understand LinkedIn.
I don't either. I really.
Do you want to just like stream it on YouTube like every time then?
I mean, it is like it's streaming to YouTube right now.
Yeah, I think we can just give up on LinkedIn if it's just gonna cause trouble, or we can keep trying next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna post the YouTube link at least so that people can watch it from LinkedIn.
All right. So when I asked it the question of like, yeah, there's a human on a bench. The bee has come along. It's like, this is indeed a question worthy of our inquiry.
Oh my god.
It brings to the fore the fundamental issue of weighing the value of different forms of life and the moral imperative to do no harm. As Socrates, I would propose we dissect this situation using questions and dialogue. First, it seems we must ask, does the human life hold more value than that of the bee? And if so, why?
Oh
Would
my
this be
god.
because of the potential pain a human might experience from the bee's sting, or perhaps due to the higher complexity of a human's cognitive capacity and potential for experience? Secondly, we might also ponder the inverse. Is there something inherently valuable about the bee's life that we should consider beyond its mere capacity to sting or not to sting?
Wow. I love
Fine.
that that's
Yeah.
the case, like to sting or not to sting.
Yeah. Finally, we must consider the action itself of swatting away the bee. Does taking action that could potentially harm another creature for the protection of ourselves or others bring about its own moral questions? These are the considerations we must address before we can come to any satisfactory answer. What are your thoughts on these matters, my friend? Like, it actually asks me.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like GPT-4 has gotten better at like asking questions. I don't know if you've
Mm.
noticed it this week. Like, I find that like sometimes like without even prompting it to like have a dialogue with me, it will already ask me like, is this the direction you want to take? Or it's like, can you give me this information? So it
Mm.
actually is trying to have a conversation now.
Yeah, as opposed to just like just talking to you about like answers and everything like that, which
Yeah, exactly.
it's only about to get like stronger, right? So like we were talking about earlier how like writers are kind of complaining or whatever about not complaining. I mean, there's actually an actual writer strike going on, but it's really the aspect of them complain, not just writers but also like authors complaining about the fact that like GPT and Bard are being trained on their stuff, right, on their work, and they're not
Yeah.
really getting like residuals or anything for it, or companies outright are just using like GPT and Bard to write their stuff as opposed to hiring writers. And
Yeah.
while that's going on, the Associated Press turns around and makes a deal with OpenAI for them to be able to use all of Associated Press's data for training GPT.
Yeah.
So it's
It's a
the
weird space right now. It's like,
it is.
I support the creatives being able to like make a living off of their work and stuff. But at the
Right.
same time, it's also, we can't like pretend that this isn't going to be a thing, if that makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
we still have to progress like with the technology that we have, because there's so much potential in it. It's just that we have to find that middle ground where human beings can still provide value, but at the same time like we're using this resource properly to do better things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The goal is to learn, and like to learn how to use this in your everyday life. Like this is every bit as important as, I wouldn't say how you use your phone, because we technically don't like use our phones for anything super productive for the most part.
I don't
um
know. I've been using it for like my chat GPT like
yeah,
instances.
okay, like yeah, that's definitely something that's definitely worth it.
I got Audible on it. I got my podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. And like I've got well, yeah, I'll say that much. I've got Discord on it, so there's a lot of times where I'll use like either um, Midjourney or Kyber or something
Yeah.
while I'm on it. So, but yeah, point being that like it's the next cell phone, it's the next computer, which your cell phone is basically a laptop anyway. Um,
Yeah.
and this is like it's jobs are pretty much, they're starting to require people to know how to use GPT. So it's definitely becoming a thing where if you don't understand how to use this technology by the end of the year, it's going to be it's not going to be tough to like hold on to your job or anything like that. I just don't know. Nobody can really tell how jobs are going to like completely change, but they definitely are. They definitely are going to
Yeah.
completely
I
change.
At least from my perspective, what's going to happen is we're still going to have like these companies that haven't adopted like chat, like these AI technologies, and they're still going to survive, but you're going to start seeing a gap between the people who are using the technology versus the people who aren't, because you know a lot of companies are feeling the squeeze right now, right? Like
Mm,
there's a lot of companies laying off, there's a lot of people, and there's also hiring at the moment, there's and like recession and whatnot, right?
right.
So I think just in terms of productivity and like the quality of ideas, it's going to be very like it's going to be more apparent which companies are using AI effectively versus the ones that aren't. And like the ones that aren't are just going to continue like sailing through. It's kind of like how there's like, I don't know, super old like PR companies that are still using like really old technologies and they're still making money or whatever, right? Because
Right.
by brand name or by relationships or whatnot. So I think it's kind of like it's too much to say that like these things will go away just because like they're not using AI, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and there's definitely different industries too, right? That like aren't really
Yeah.
affected by this stuff nearly as much as like as others. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah. So it'll be like, I hope it'll be like a smooth transition, or smoother than I think it will. Than I hope, or yeah, smoother than I think it will be. I don't know.
Well, at the very least, we're here to help like the HubSpotty marketing side of RevOpsy side of things figure
Right.
out like how they can use open like there's AI tools in general. So do you want to just hop into like doing the lead score? Is it lead? Are we doing lead scoring today, or are we doing
Yeah, we're
continuing
doing
the buyer persona stuff?
no, doing lead scoring today. I mean, we could
All right,
finish up the buyer persona stuff technically, but
let's go.
let's see.
Let's go on ahead to like lead scoring because I think like most people kind of understand like what they can do with the buyer persona stuff, right? They can just like kind of like what do you call that? Add on to it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It'll and I think it should be like should also work retroactively. So it's like as we're building out the lead scoring table, it's only adding more information to the basis that we're going to be working off of. So it has more reference for like, okay, well, I could use a lot of the values that we already came up with to try to help build out buyer personas as well. So
Laura says that like some of their was it half of them likes that they're using GPT, and the other half says they'll reject like AI generated submissions. That's
oh well,
crazy to me. I mean, like if you're fully using I feel like that's like yeah, that makes sense, but it's just like if you're using AI partially, I don't think you should be penalized for that. It's just weird.
yeah,
Like
that's
should we be penalized for using Grammarly?
right, right. Like that's where it starts to get like a little crossed over, right? Is what AI softwares are we willing to use? Like, in the beginning, I think people had a lot of the same. People had the same attitude towards Siri, right? Like when Siri first came out, people were just like, "Oh, asking Siri about everything." Um,
Or calculators. When calculators
oh
came out,
yeah,
teachers had a strike because there's
yeah,
like people are gonna be lazy, and it's like, no, like now people are able to do quadratic equations by themselves, and you can actually teach students the equations properly, and they can at least know about it. It's not like they're gonna use it in their daily lives or whatever anyway.
right.
So like, just come on.
Oh
It's
gosh.
not about the tool; it's about how you use it.
So it's actually having issues trying to use memory bank, but it's all right. We'll get past it. We shouldn't with 24 prompts left. I don't think we're gonna build up enough information that it should like mess it up. So, but yeah, just as like an aside, the prompts or the plugins that I'm using, it's pretty much the two standard set, which is Memory Bank and Scraper. And then today we're going to be using SEO, which is basically going to help us pull some additional information from it. But let's start with that. Let's see.
Are you building lead scoring for Slack?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. For this company, so we're gonna say, let's see, just out the, let's see. Well, and so here's the thing, right? Is you could kind of go by however much you want. So let's say list out 45 values that we would able to add scores to, which should include, hold on a second. Just want to be nice about it. We'd be able to add scores to, which should include questions from Tofu, Mofu, and Bofu forums.
Okay.
So, sure, here's some values.
See how far it goes.
So it skipped my first request, right? It kind of took which should include and forced that into that being part of the questions that we would ask. And here's some values might consider categorized by the stages of the funnel. Okay, that's actually not bad.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, those are okay questions.
And it's actually put it within the journey, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually really good.
The lead red. I was like tempted to like say lead. Has the lead visited the website? Oh my god, that's not how you read that.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
So let's see. Let's negotiate pricing. So let's say create a table of lead score values based on these questions. Based on the let's do it one at a time, because if you do like all three at once, like we've got 15 a piece, right? Yeah, it's gonna it's gonna check out, right?
You know, something I learned the other day is that you can ask it to like cut itself off when you when
and you can use
the limit, and then you just tell it to continue.
Yeah.
And then it will generate the next answer.
Let's see, based on the questions from the Tofu forum, including let's see, create point values for each possible answer. Creating them from most to least.
And then can you ask it to also like explain its reasoning?
Yeah.
So we can check.
Oops.
The raisins. Give
give
me your raisins.
Oh my god. Okay, and I'm sure part of its answer is going to be like, keep in mind these are suggested values and whatnot, which is it's fine, and that's
typical.
I like that it does that, right? Because that's where so many people go wrong. They take it and they just run away with it, as opposed to like taking it and using it as the suggestion it's supposed to be, as the outline it's supposed to be.
All right, so there's no negative points, which makes sense, right? Because like these are all positive actions that the person has done.
But at the same time, it skipped another request.
Which
I
one was it?
skipped a step in the middle where, let's see, I said create point values for each possible answer. So I wrote that wrong. That's bad English.
Yeah.
I should have said create option answers for each question and assign answer a point value. Rating them from most valuable to least. If you complete it, yep, that's okay.
Let's see how that goes.
Much better. It'll break the whole thing down. It should be nicer. Yeah. Oh man, no, it's still broke. Because it's only
yes,
giving
no?
yes or no answers. Oh,
Well, I mean, like, the
but this is
questions are
internal.
yes or no. They're all yes or no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't even notice that these were internal questions.
It's like, well, if you say so, I'll make this
Yeah.
table that looks really weird for you.
Right.
I mean, it's not bad though, right? Has the lead subscribed to a newsletter? Yeah, that would be like highest,
Right.
technically. I mean, you could also argue the webinar might be highest, but like as it says, it's like just a suggestion.
Yeah.
But at least you can look at that suggestion and be like, yeah, no, like this is actually higher value.
Yeah, okay, so here's your 15 externally facing ones.
I mean, to be fair, if we're talking about HubSpot here as well, like it's possible for you to create filters based off of like the contacts activity on your website, assuming of course that you have cookie tracking enabled, and yeah, and most people had like that cookie thing, like accepted the cookies.
So I think the hang up is, let's see, because even with internally facing values, like you still want to know what drop down option, right?
Yeah, I guess like you'd have to like do it for each of the options, right?
So
I think you have to specify that you want it to be a range of answers that the person is giving you, not just yes or no. Maybe that's where it's kind of hung up. Like it's kind of just assuming that the questions are supposed to just be yes or no. By the way, if anyone has any questions or like suggestions on like what to do in these situations, feel free to like put it in the chat.
let's see. Cool. Yeah.
All right, let's see how that goes.
Create a that should be closer to what it is I'm expecting. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then now we'll get that breakdown of like point to answer.
Yeah, so from the beginning, we should have been like more specific about like what types of questions we actually wanted. Okay, yeah. So it has points for each of these different things.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be hard if they have each column, because then like each question has its own answers, right?
Yeah.
Then it would have to create multiple tables.
Oh, let's see. Break out the point values in their own rows. Answer given.
Oh no, so the columns could be the points, and then the answer should go underneath it, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Per answer given, and it should just be, yeah. So it should be like, that's the thing, is it should stack or at least like bold, something like that.
Okay.
Like that's all I'm really looking for, is just a stacked thing. No.
Ooh, no.
Stop. Wow. Hmm. Let's see.
Um,
Show. Let's see. Wow, this is like, it's weird because I've,
how do you English this is basically what's
well, and
happening.
what's funny is like, I've like, it's been so much easier like other times that I've done this. Like I've never really had, I don't even know how to ask or how to do this, but let's see. I suppose, okay. All
Okay,
right.
I guess
This
like
is probably,
can you break down the table? Can you break down the table of
here we go. This will be better. All right. So rather than going from scratch, I'm just gonna. I know this sucks. I'll probably we need to come up with like ways to like. I guess I'll post this on the page after we're done here. Because these
yeah,
are just things
figure
that
out
I've
how to
used.
like ask how to
Right.
ask it to do the thing.
Well, so like in creating the table, right? You want to have values that you're already um, that you're going to calculate for, right? Like everybody kind of
Mm.
already has questions they want to ask, and you already have these built out. So really, all this is doing is taking this, which we could do. Like I could do this as example. So
Yeah. To be
right,
fair, okay. I'm just like just throwing like ideas here.
right,
If we had code interpreter on, right? And
mm,
then say we had an Excel file that showed like how exactly we wanted the columns to look like, just as an example of like what this table would look like.
right,
Then you could like upload that into chat gpt and then it would be like, oh, okay, so this is how you want it, and then you can go into like this whole situation. But then that would also mean that like, or maybe you can ask it to create a prompt based off of that,
oh
so
yeah,
that you can create another instance with the plugins enabled.
right,
So it's like, okay, so here, so code interpreter instance, right? You input the file of like with an example of how you want the table to look like, and
mm,
then you're like, hey, I need a prompt so that a chat gpt instance can format the table in the same way.
right,
Can you create that for me?
yeah, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
that, or yeah, no, I would definitely go
That's
that route.
not that's okay.
Yeah, so this
Job
is
title student.
yeah, job titles to avoid negative
Would
implicit, but
anyone put unemployed in like the form submission?
it's for the. Let's see if it could do it just based off of that.
Apologies for the oversight.
Right? This is what I was expecting before, that it would break it down into like the
Yeah.
individual category with the points below it. It's still doing the same thing, I believe, because it didn't catch all of them, and so now it's like it's pulling a lot of the same stuff. Oh no, it is okay, but it wouldn't. Maybe there's too many questions for it today. Something like that.
Yeah, maybe it's just getting overwhelmed. Like,
Right.
an
I asked
actual
it.
intern, like an
Asked it to
actual
do.
intern that you just
Asked it
like,
to
hey,
do a
intern,
little
do all
too
these things.
much. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's try the questions individually, because that's really like these are really the firmographics that people are looking for, I think. Um, let's see. Wow.
I mean, to be fair though, right? Like, if I had to do this from scratch, this would take a lot more time than whatever it is we're doing, trying to troubleshoot the formatting
Right. And
inside
the
your ChatGPT.
yeah, that's the thing, right? So like I think when we started this was maybe legit like 15 minutes ago. All right. How much time would it take you um, to go to take these questions and to go to the site, find the answers for them, and then or like to do the research to find the answers for this stuff, and then sit back and figure out like what your MQL point like point conversion is going to be, and then okay, have to go back and figure out how how you're going to build these point values out. Or you could just say my MQL. Let's see, what we call a point break. Yeah, I believe that's what it's on. Or a breakpoint. Let's see. No, right? Okay.
MQL.
Let's say, so we're gonna call that I don't know.
50?
Based on this one, yeah, let's go 50. No, because it looks like it would have to.
But if you do 50,
so let's
they'll
say,
just do it like less, right?
Right. I was gonna say, so like, yeah, the point of this is just to like have it do the adjustment.
So I have a question, right? Considering that code interpreter is like, I guess, made for like logic and math, like would this be better with code interpreter? I guess that's something to try out.
Oh, as in, yeah, would it be a better way to get a response? Definitely could
Yeah,
try.
yeah. Because at least for me, when I was like doing some like math calculations over the weekend, right? I did it on GPT-4 versus Code Interpreter. I really like the way Code Interpreter does it because like it also shows you like its work rather than like typing its work.
Yeah, let's see. So
what did it do?
Oh, so it knocked the table down. So like where the initial table had like some, let's see which one, had only some zero values for answers. This one actually inputted like several questions, or at least like 3 questions, 2. Yeah. So another question basically got knocked down. Really important stuff got the 20-point value.
Okay.
How did it stack? Some of it is actually, no, some of it's actually quite the same. It's just like some very minimal differences.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So that's a question. Let's see. Here we go. I'm wondering about that. Right, so it's like, this is where it becomes an assistant. Let's see. Right, so like now it's not just a matter of like, okay, well, why are we like, or these are the values that we're doing. It's like, okay, here's also why we're using those values as well.
Yeah, I guess like at this point you could also like I mean if you have any historical data already, you could also give it more context. Like so like in general, like these actions it equates to like some form of conversion rate, or like we've found success in like doing these things, and if you can give like actual data or statistics on it, then it can make a more informed decision. Because I mean like if you think about it, if your boss does like give you like a lead scoring task and like you have no context at all about the business, you would probably come up with something like this too.
Yeah, right. The lead conversion. So like even the questions that I came up with in the first place, this one is like interesting to me. It always suggests like either what is your decision making process, or who is your, like, are you the key decision maker?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, like, very not very different from what I asked, actually. Like, timeline was in there. Yeah, who else is involved in the decision making process? I guess,
Yeah.
and that, like, my question always is like, okay, well, how many times is somebody faced with that question and also willing to answer it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're wanting to, let's see. You want to take point values, or you want to take the question to ask an interpreter?
Could do the point values because then it's more mathy, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's do a new one.
Code interpreter.
Okay.
You have to enable it if you want it on your Pro subscription because it's a beta feature.
Mm-hmm. Which you need a Pro subscription for. So in terms of how we get to use a lot of this stuff, like even the way in which we use pull lead scoring, or how you pull information for a site. If you're doing anything, even if you're doing like 3.5, you're trying to do the free version, you're not going to be able to give it new data unless you spoon feed it, is what I would call it, which, like, you have to go and get your own scraper, pull it, copy paste it, and then like clean it up, because it's going to have like a lot of external like website crap in it. So code interpreter, basically an additional plugin that allows you to start doing like analytics with what it is that you've put in, and you can actually like give it access to upload files to it. Highly suggest, and we absolutely do not recommend that you upload anything that has personal data of any kind, whether it be your own or somebody else's.
Just make it anonymous if you're gonna do anything with it.
Right. Let's see. So I suppose we could do. Let's see. What do we do? Graphing. Let's see.
Graph the lead scores.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, that's.
I think it's basically like, okay, so these are the questions we have, right? And like we need scores for it. You give it like that. Maybe you give it like the initial scores that the other instance did, and then be like, okay, can you adjust this to the 50 and 100 MQL SQL thing and see how it plays around with it versus like GPT-4 without it.
Wait. And let's see. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when that's written, people do put like an MQL?
An MQL, a MQL. Well, I mean, it depends. It's not. Both are correct, like grammatically speaking.
Right.
Because if you're doing it an MQL, an M,
because like, it's not a vowel.
But M sounds like it's like an EM. You know, like it starts like it sounds with like it starts with a vowel.
Oh, so I know.
An MQL. So technically, it's both grammatically correct.
Who wants? Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to clean this up. Not too badly though.
Or do we just like? Should we just like copy paste the exact questions that the other instance?
Oh man, it already. Yeah.
Yeah, you just post. You just
But I
do
won't.
that.
Let's see. I'm gonna please copy this and throw it over to the other, to my other sheet. If you guys like, anytime that you're using GPT, I highly recommend that you keep like a
Word document.
keep like a Word doc open on the side, because yeah, you're always have
You might lose your
Yeah.
prompts.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 times you're gonna lose them for sure.
I realized this when I was like typing out like a huge like prompt yesterday. I was like, what if it goes away when my phone locks up? Because I'm looking something else up. So yeah, just keep it on your clipboard or something, or yeah, a notes app on the side.
Just in case. Alright, cool. Just paste that in there, and then go and get my command. And paste that in there. And run.
On the topic of like documents though, like you should see like Nico's like database of like prompts. Like he has like a whole folder full of like prompts that actually have worked for him. So, if there's like stuff that you find that works for you, like, keep that as a library, because that's going to be useful rather than having to type it every single time.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Oh, that looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a cleaner data,
Yeah.
data for sure.
It's like the data analyst assistant.
I was wondering, like, so that's the thing is, it's I don't know. I was gonna say it's better. It is kind of better in a sense, like when you copy paste this.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it is. It's totally set up for a Excel sheet, right? Because like that, there's your columns and there's your values. So yeah, no, that's really good. Let's see. I really want to do like a visual analysis of something. Let's see.
Analysis of the things that they always like give us in like data analytics classes is like the Titanic like data set.
Oh,
like you can always like download that and then like make it like analyze that and see what graphs it makes.
That's what I'm like looking for. Here we go. I'm just looking for like a data set, basically a random data set.
What's that website that has like tons of like data sets?
Let's see, you've got a hotel booking data set. Actually, okay, but we're okay.
I think it's called Kaggle. Kaggle is the one that has like tons of data sets that you can use if you're like trying to do like data analyst stuff. Or like machine learning.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this has, let's see. Okay, that's not quite the same thing.
I like looking at these data sets. They have fishball texture data set.
Let's see.
Fresh and rotten classification. What is this?
It's got so many. Okay, I think that is an entire ask. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure if this is actually going to come out right, just because I'm doing it ad hoc. But I kind of hope so. I seriously doubt this is going to straight copy paste. It's probably going to error out so badly. Yeah, exactly. See, that's interesting because it does, like, it fully understands how to write Python. Look at that. Like, it just lied to me, right? Like, I'm currently not equipped to process Python. Like, all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here, I'll send you this link.
Okay, can't run the installation instructions. Got it.
See if you can like download this data set and then just like upload it into. It's like it says Uber Data Analytics Analysis.
That would be great.
In India.
Oh my god, that is exactly the site I was getting the hotel booking info from.
Look at Kaggle. Yeah, Kaggle is amazing. Like, if you ever take like a data analytics course
Mhm.
wherever, like whether it's YouTube or on like Coursera or wherever, they'll always be like, yeah, go on Kaggle if you want to like create your own like data analysis project or something.
I love getting able to. Let's see. Sure. I love
There's also
like.
the Titanic data set, which everyone likes to use. Everyone, where is it?
Can you just download it then?
Do.
Okay. What's it gonna do? Archive? Yeah, gosh. I don't know why I just decided to. Any day now. So now for some reason it's not finding the archive. You have to be joking. Like I downloaded it and it definitely came down as the archive file, and then I go to extract it and it just won't.
Wow.
Okay, let me try this.
Maybe you have to
Yep,
like
okay,
because
cool.
it's a zip file. You have to upload the actual like CSV.
Oh no, I definitely
Put the CSV in.
yeah. Okay,
So weird.
cool. Got the Uber data set. Use pandas. Okay, cool. Purpose column, maybe handle. Wow,
Okay.
nice.
Let's ask it what stuff we can actually get, what kind of data we can get from this.
I'm wondering if didn't do a huge explanation on that. Normally it'll actually okay. All missing values.
Yeah, it does depend on like what you're trying to analyze, because like you can clean up the data in different ways.
Wait. So it had one missing value. You deleted the entire column? Let's remove the rows with missing values. Okay. Okay, good. Good deal. Values in the columns of values purpose. Okay. So
We can
what
ask it what we can analyze from the data set, maybe. What insights can we get from this kind of data
True.
set?
Trip analysis, category,
Ooh.
location, temple. Baller.
Ah, the time of day.
Gonna look at trip category.
Wow.
And
I like how it's
purpose.
proactive now and just like starts doing stuff as
Yeah.
well. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Ask it to make a graph that shows like the purpose by time of day.
I like see that's the thing is it's reinforced learning by human feedback, so it's like the aspect of, and like I mean that's not necessarily relevant to why it gives you the explanation, but the fact that it gives you the explanation to me is awesome because you're learning as you're going along.
I find that like the code interpreter does that a lot more than like the GPT-4, at least from what I've tested when I
Right.
was doing the calculations I was doing.
Hmm.
It would just proactively be like, okay, so first we need to calculate this, 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 and it'll explain to you why it's calculating it.
Yeah. So I wonder what the. Let's see. So there you go. I'm wondering how close we're getting to the 25. Let's see.
We're probably getting there, especially with code interpreter.
Yeah.
That's when we know when to stop the show. It's usually when we run out of prompts.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like we'll finish when we're done with prompts. Like we got 25. I wish it would have a counter too. Like that would be
I know,
nice.
exactly.
Let's see. Trip purpose by hour of day. Let's see.
But you see what's fascinating about this? It's like,
Right.
I was trying to learn how to be a data analyst like a year ago or so, like, knowing how to manipulate this data. But now you have like code interpreter and like other AI tools that can like do this, where it's like you just put in the raw data and it will visualize it for you and then start the analysis process. Like obviously I think you still need like an actual data minded person or somebody who thinks kind of critically about data, because like as much as people say data doesn't lie, human beings kind of lie or interpret data however they want. So you still kind of need that person who understands how data works to figure out what's going on, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you still like that's why there's the case of a lot of people in a lot of positions in marketing not necessarily going away, because the real crux of it is that you have to know, like you have to be an expert at what you do and know how to use this tool. So it's not just like a matter of getting replaced by something. It's just a matter of understanding how to use this tool to do your job better and faster, right? So like asking code interpreter to put together the data that you feed it. Now look, down the road, I'm sure that most companies are going to have this type of thing internal. So, but still, like learning how to use it from like we are right now, we're just taking free data sets and we're just playing around with it and we're learning how to use it. That's worth it. It's worth your time to understand how to do that, because pretty soon that is going to be the way in which you do your job as an analyst, right? You're gonna have to take internal data sets with that internal GPT-like tool, and you're gonna have to know how to use it in order to come up with these visualizations that would have otherwise taken you, I don't even know how much time in a spreadsheet to do, right?
Yeah. I mean, like if we go back to like this whole lead scoring or like buyer persona stuff that we've been talking about for the past 2 episodes, like, once you actually have the data from like your buyer personas and like, from the lead scoring itself, like you can just put in the raw data with code interpreter into chat GPT and like actually ask it questions like, okay, so what are the actual demographics of like the people who are doing these things, and also like do we have to adjust our buyer personas actually, because maybe the buyer personas you created initially don't actually reflect the audience that you have. And then on the other side of it, Nico and I were talking about this earlier, but I was listening to like the HBR, like an HBR podcast just yesterday, about how like you need to be smart with the questions that you're asking AI. Because the example that they gave was like, yeah, it's easy to ask it, hey, can you predict like the conversion rate of this like certain campaign? When in actuality, your job as a marketer is to optimize the campaign to like have better conversions. So a better question to ask actually is, which among these people are more like the people who aren't going to convert, right? Which of them are more likely to convert with extra touch points, for example, and what kind of touch points? So it takes like more critical thinking to kind of understand like the value of these things and to really extract like as much as you can from them.
Yeah. We finally hit the we hit the cap, unfortunately.
Wait,
Yep. Let's see. Let's see. There you go.
wow.
So I mean, like,
That looks amazing though. Like just from a standpoint of like project management, it's just like you don't have to like read through like a full document.
right, right, and I mean, like, you can, you can take whatever it is that you would normally use, like even if it was like, whether it's firmographics or psychographics, doesn't matter. 9 times out of 10, it's like just copy the same setup that HubSpot has for what it looks for buyer personas, and then just build that out. And for, like, to me, again, like, we've done this based on the public URL available data of that company, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to have that data for your client or your customer. So it's not as if you don't have a source for being able to collect that and being able to have some like ground to work from, data set wise. So you pull as much as you can from those links and scrape as much as you can, and then just work based off of that. And again, even though it won't be super accurate because it's not based on their internal data, at least it's based off of something related to their company directly. So what you're using is definitely more, I don't know, it's more accurate than just taking a guess out of the dark, or just trying to piece it together by yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a good like starting point at the very least. But like even as a starting point, it's already like pretty comprehensive. Like there's
Oh yeah.
already like a lot of decisions and questions you can come up with just looking at the data that it gives you from just like that scrape. And imagine like having someone actually do that scrape. Like it takes what, like an hour or even longer just to even like get that data and like think about it, you know?
Right. Well,
Alrighty. Does anyone have any questions for the week or any suggested topics for next week?
let's see.
It takes a little bit of time because, like, you know, like YouTube is like 2 seconds behind and stuff.
Yeah,
3 seconds behind.
that's, I mean, like, and my goal this week is to just figure out figure out how to get LinkedIn Live to work. And I don't know. Maybe we have to try like Restream or something totally. I hate to have to like shift to another platform entirely.
Yeah, well, I mean, they always have the trials, and you can always like get a refund if it doesn't work right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I was gonna suggest like maybe we could dive into like experimenting with ChatSpot next week, just
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, because like HubSpot's been like hyping it up, and I know it's kind of like hit or miss at the moment. There's like a lot of things where it's like um it works, and then there's other places where it doesn't work. I think it would be good to just kind of explore what it can and can't do versus like just chat GPT it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the it's not like, it's definitely not as limited, let's say, as it used to be. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They're coming along like constantly, like I would say on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely get into that next time.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool because that'll be a nice little segue into a content creator too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
That, and I
cool.
want to show so like 3 things, like we're just like, I don't know, sort of all content based. I want to get into like how to make chat right like you. Like that to me is it's very, very interesting. Oh, but
Yeah.
did I show you, just as the last minute, did I show you that Photoshop thing?
Which Photoshop thing?
The watermark removal.
Oh, what?
Yeah, no, I
What
didn't
the
show that to
heck?
you.
Oh, artists are gonna be so pissed off at that.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
You can remove watermarks?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know if they, I don't know why. I don't know if they did
I'm
this on
upset on
purpose.
behalf of the artists.
So like I like it was just a like I was just messing around. It was I didn't even like I found it by accident. Basically, I wasn't looking for it on purpose.
And
And
obviously they would hide that because artists would be so upset. I
you
mean, they
would
probably are already if you go into like certain like
that's the thing
areas of
is
the
like
internet.
I wanted to like almost show this off because it was like all right I think people should know that this exists in some degree to one degree or another. um
I mean, also just as a warning, because like I'm pretty sure
yeah I don't
companies are also trying to watermark their stuff, and now it's just like, well,
yeah I sincerely don't suggest this at all obviously, but so there's a new removal tool, right? And it's I understand like how this stuff happens and like why it happens because they're looking to advance the tech in like every way that they can, which also includes um
what? Oh my
being able
god,
to like remove people from a scene or like remove like blemishes or whatever it might be, right? Like they go a step further because this used to just be spot healing brush and healing brush, which is pretty good. The first rendition of
what?
it
So
was
you're
patch
telling
tool.
me you can remove it from like Getty Images and Shutterstock and all that other stuff?
There are some, so like this one has it. Like there are some images that have something embedded in them in some way that like
Yeah.
it won't allow it, but
Okay.
it kind of depends on like how much, as you can see, like how much effort you put into the remove. But yeah,
That's not bad because like if you're an actual like artist, you'll know how to like clean that up even more, like the little tiny parts of it still.
right. And it's like, yeah, this is where it gets a little
Uh
iffy, right? Because it's trying to remove a little too
yeah,
much.
so basically the brush is sampling the colors and just trying to figure out which colors go where and removes the white stuff and
Right.
replaces it with like more colors. Yeah. So the water looks kind of weird now. But again, if you are a professional artist, you would know sort of how to fix that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing is like it can remove I don't know, the crux of it. So like you're not having to do
That is
as much.
that is like crazy.
Yeah, it's like I did it by accident to one image, and then after I saw it, I was just like, all right, well, that kind of breaks stuff all over the place for artists who thought watermarks were really safe for their images.
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
would they put that in? Like, what use cases would you have? I guess the use case would be if you want to test an image before you use it. But
maybe.
like, that kind of messes up, like, I mean, like, power to people who are like screwing over big companies, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
what about all the independent artists who
there
like
are
have watermarks?
so many lawsuits going on over stuff like exactly like this, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how much can you really tell at this point? Like the one thing that I was looking at more than anything else was, oh, I'll show you the image that I used, and I was just like, um, I was blown away. Let's see, do I have it here? Actually, I don't.
I can't see your
Yeah.
screen, by the way. I'm just like looking at the YouTube video, so like my reactions are a little delayed.
Oh my god. But
For the
yeah.
YouTube people, like probably like a 4 second delay of my reactions or something.
Oh my. Oh no. That's yeah. A friend of mine that also has yeah. See, that's where like so it'll definitely lose some of the detail,
Yeah.
but depending yeah, like you say, like if you're an artist, you understand, how to then go in and you take a little bit of your pat. Well, not like that, but you take a little
Yeah.
bit of your patch. Oh
And I
wait,
mean,
here
I'm
we go.
saying this as like a person who did like basic Photoshop in college and like Photoshop like chicken nuggets into like space and stuff. So, like, it's actually not that hard if you really, really know Photoshop.
Right. It's really
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's funny because a lot of artists were like trying to get off Photoshop because of like the Adobe subscription fees were so bad. But now
Yeah.
it's like you're getting pretty compelling reasons to go back to Adobe just because of all the AI tools.
Not only that,
Because
but
otherwise
yeah,
you can't keep track. You won't keep
can't
up.
keep up. Yep. That's what I was gonna,
You
yeah.
won't know like what other people are doing to your own work. You won't know like what you should be doing to your own work and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so in like whatever, a few minutes or something like that, all of a sudden somebody's work that probably took them a long time and all that kind of thing, just gone, right? And it's like, so like there's the original. So yeah, about the only thing that lost a lot of detail, which again I could go back and just copy right in there, is the top of the
Yeah.
mountain. But other than that, everything probably looks
Crazy.
so close to the original. Like, what difference, right? Yeah, I just wanted to throw that one in there.
Just blow my mind with like all this new thing we have to think about.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I'm really sure. Actually, I will. I'm not even really sure. When I go to clip this or like put this together, this is definitely going to be like the lead in or something. Like I want to start doing like the lead ins where it's like multiple things. So it's like showing GPT spitting stuff out and stuff like this, and I don't know, a clip of us laughing or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure people will appreciate it, and they'll see like all the nice highlights of our show.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching and sticking around as we like went off of a different tangents. I hope you guys found that like interesting, useful with like like our pie discussion and
Hmm.
like the philosophical discussion of whether the bee should die before it stings the human. And of course the lead scoring stuff where we showed you like the GPT, like how to do it on GPT-4, and then like what it also looks like when you're using code interpreter, and kind of like a brief overview of like what code interpreter can do. So yeah, next week we're gonna try and cover like ChatSpot and like, you know, kind of cover its use cases as of now. Obviously it's still in, I think it's in alpha, right? So
Yeah,
basically they're
it's
still
still in
like
alpha.
building a lot of functionality into it, and they actually have like a separate team specifically for chatspot, so we can kind of like explain that a little bit more in the next episode. So yeah, if you have any questions about chatspot in particular, feel free to just send it over to any of us, and like we'll try to include them in the next episode.
Definitely. All right, guys, that's it for us.
Right,
We'll see
have
you
a good
next week.
Sunday.
Yeah.
See you next week.